Hey, it's your boy, Sergeant Hooked in Heroes, hitting you with another brand spanking new video for hashtag Power Month. Again, happy 30th anniversary to Power Rangers. Happy Power Month to y'all in the Morphin Grid. This is our series we're doing here on the most badass moments in every season of Power Rangers. Again, I'm counting the super and blah, the normal and super seasons. The ones that have a super season as one thing. So it's going to say like Beast Morphers, and it's just going to say Dino Charge, Megaforce. The last one will say Megaforce / Super Megaforce. This one's just going to say Samurai. And today we're talking about Samurai. My deep-rooted hatred of the whole thing of not having anywhere near the ethnic diversity they should have in a season like this, especially with it being based entirely in Japanese things and cultural things and folklore and all that aside, there are some badass moments in the show. I have to give them that. I really do. Because Samurai is this. It feels the same to me as most of Megaforce, not Super Megaforce. Megaforce and like Ninja Steel, and being like not an affront to God, but just kind of a wet fart of a season that's just kind of there. And I know that some people, it was their first season. It was their MMPR, and that's totally fine. But it doesn't make enough of an impact, in my opinion, to be like, like losing my mind about. But everyone's opinion is valid, and I love to see how other people experienced it differently. My good co-host and great friend, Frankie Joaquin, Toku Frankie, on the Henshins and Homies podcast, where we just recently had on Matt, again, from Immortal Red Fox, talking about Ultraman. But anyway, Frankie, is a huge fan of Samurai. He really, really enjoyed it. It was his MMPR and like what got him into Power Rangers in general. And it was for a lot of people, Living Ranger, Key Josh, and a few others. And I respect it for that. So I really do. So I think as far as badass moments that stick out, I can't really separate it exactly by normal Samurai or super. But the one for me is definitely, I feel like they did a pretty decent job and verging on fairly badass job with Lauren, with his sister, with Jaden's sister Lauren, her coming into it. I do like how they didn't quite do it the same way, because if you haven't watched Shinkenger, Kaoru Shiba is a fucking bitch and despises her brother, thinks of him as a fucking failure, and the rest of the team similarly. So, like, she's a lot different in being kind of, like, hot-headed and, like, I'm the new leader, fuck all of you. Whereas Lauren comes in because they need her to, because at that point, Jaden is kind of out of commission, both emotionally and physically. And so it was really cool. It was a really huge landmark thing to see a girl transform into a red Power Ranger for the first time. I know we clearly got Charlie back in SPD, but I mean, come on, we're really going to fucking count that little random particle effect that wasn't even really a morph. Plus her suits are literally kit bashed in space suits. Come on. Let's get down to brass tacks here, okay? But anyway, so I think Lauren's introduction and her tenure that she had, however short it was pretty good. I like seeing her in the role of leader, that she really quickly was able to learn the ins and outs of the team. She had a bit of the, like, I think I'm better than you-ness to her, but not as much as Kaoru, which I think worked. I think it would have been annoying if she was just a copy and paste of Kaoru, as like the entire season pretty much is. That's the only thing that isn't, which is odd. Samurai suffers from the problem of just like copying and pasting exact plots from Shinkenger without changing a damn thing. And it's really weird because there's just things that don't translate well from Japan over here humor-wise and like narratively. But it's fine. So most of what the stuff happens with Lauren is really cool. Seeing her fight together with the team. I think she uses the super mode at one point. And just in general, having her be there for as long as it was cool. Also, it was cool that her morpher was the real, like, Shudophone, like, prop thing. And it looked different than Jaden's and everyone else's. I thought that was pretty cool. And as far as another badass moment, the only one I can really think of is when Jaden uses the Shogun mode thing out of cockpit. So, Samurai was the first one to start this whole thing where they would have a separate, like, Ranger mode they would go into when they're in the cockpit. And I don't really know why they did it, because it didn't really do anything except give, like, different attacks and whatever. So it was just kind of really annoying and weird when they would do it. But what was cool is the Shogun mode is a completely original to Power Rangers creation. I mean, they worked with Plex to create the suit, But it was a really ornate suit, a really beautiful suit. I might actually make it the thumbnail for this just so you guys can really understand that it's a really beautiful suit. Honestly, it's almost as ornate and as impressive for me to look at as like Max Riesel Red, but just without the emotion attached to it. But it was really cool seeing Jaden actually use the form outside of the cockpit, and using it to defeat Master Xandred was also pretty cool. It was a pretty nicely choreographed fight, and seeing him go into that mode out of the cockpit was definitely a surprise and a shock, I will say. I wasn't expecting that was going to happen, nor was I thinking it was even a possibility, honestly. But that was a pretty badass moment. And, kind of the lead up to it at that point. But yeah, like I said, overall, Samurai doesn't offend me. I think there are parts of it that I really do enjoy and I think are decent. It's unfortunate the out of order way that they put out some of the episodes, unfortunately, because of just weird production-y, goofy issues and shit like that. Like the first 2 episodes weren't the ones that premiered first. It like started on the 3rd or 4th, and then they went back and played the other ones, which was really weird. And like I said, my own issue that we don't have they didn't try to cast an Asian or an Asian American Red to be actor to be the Red Ranger. In my head, that would have worked, because then you could have had him coming from Japan to America and finding out that those bloodlines of the other Samurai Rangers had made their way to America at one point. Yes, he's meeting these kids that are clearly none of them Asian other than the Pink Ranger, I'm pretty sure. But he's also able to teach them what they don't know and help them appreciate the legacy that they're not even sure what it is, or they may not know a whole lot about. That would have made more sense, in my opinion. But as it is, it's a decent season. Again, it's not an offensive season in my mind, because it's in the same realm of, okay, as Ninja Steel and at least just parts of most of Megaforce. So it's not gonna keep me up at night thinking about it. Whereas anytime I invoke the name SMF, I will not speak it into its full name. I feel like I'm summoning a demon into my home every time, pretty much. So yeah, those are my moments. Like I said, the Lauren being a part of the team for a little bit, taking over as leader because Jaden was out of commission and blah blah blah. And she even helps him, I think, create another power disc at one point, or whatever sword disc thing. And then also during the final battle where Jaden's able to go into Shogun mode outside of the cockpit was really cool to see. Really, really cool. That suit is a fucking unit, and to see it actually move and actually fight in a choreographed fight scene was really awesome, I will say. But let me know in the comments below, what did you guys think of Power Rangers Samurai? This is kind of a fun thing to walk down memory lane of our thoughts and our feelings about certain seasons. I think that there's a lot that can be said on repeat viewings or kind of looking back at our thoughts on certain seasons. As you notice in the display behind me, I wanted to mention it. I do have a few other extra friends with me. Forza's right there hanging out in the Forza driver. Say hi. Geets is right there next to the Desire driver and Geets 9 with my own new ID core in there. Over here is Build and Shin Ichigo, and of course, Adamo Motaro's up there with Zen Kaiser. So yeah, just a few I added to it. I hadn't displayed at work. Some things happened with work where that didn't really work out, and so I decided to display them at home and spruce up the display a little bit. And I think over here you'll see my Digivice right there. The 2020 Adventure Digivice decided to put that up. Yeah, just the things I want to mention, but that's a tangent. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this episode, this part of the series of this Power Month, #Power Month video on the most badass moments in Power Rangers, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments, what did you guys think of Samurai? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you in the middle? What were your favorite moments, your least favorite moments? Were your badass moments in line with mine or not? That's really cool too. Again, I really thank you guys for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. All that really good stuff means a lot to me. It really, really does. It's nice to have a space where I can come out and I can kind of talk about these things and really kind of, fangasm, if you will, over these goofy, colored spandex karate bugman shows that we watch. Definitely subscribe if you've never subscribed before. Hello, I am Zach, known as Sergeant Hooked on Heroes. I am also one half of the host on the Henshins and Homies podcast. Make sure to subscribe there, link below. Usually bi-weekly now, we have guests in the community. May they be content creators or otherwise, even sometimes actors from the current shows. To talk about tokusatsu and things of that nature. So definitely check us out. Subscribe there for our live episodes are usually bi-weekly, Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think next week we're going to be having EST on. I think it's, or not EST, sorry. Eastern Standard Time, Jesus Christ. Out of Space Reviews, an Australian-based, actually, Toku content creator. Definitely subscribe to that if you can. If you like my content, absolutely, I'd love to have you as part of the squad, as part of the army. I don't know what we're gonna call ourselves. I don't fucking know. It's always goofy when you try and come up with that. But until next time, you guys stay hooked on heroes. I'll talk to you later, and may the power protect you. Happy Power Month. Bye bye. Woo.